want to thank you all for this event. I'm honored to be here with you and to apologize in advance for my mistakes because it's my first speech in front of such large and important audience. Okay, I will speak about the victim-centered approach in fighting human trafficking. This survey is based on a theoretical and practical experience rising from direct contact with the victim suffering, seeking solution to avoid losing their human dignity. Okay. The professional relationship of the team I belong with this subject, it is an indirect one, although we consider that the trafficking process is essential, important, both personally and professionally. The institution where our team operates is a government agency that acts to ensure the implementation of social assistance policies and strategies on child protection. Our mission refers explicitly to stop this phenomenon of abuse and to assist victims in all life areas challenging for them. Our interventions aim to identify and to recognize their personal hardships, suffering, vulnerabilities, as well as those acquiring in the family. Subsequently, we help them to recover as much as we can. We have been repeatedly asked by the institution involved in justice serving to assist victims of internal or external trafficking. We believe that the idea of prevention must consider the factors that create, facilitate, and maintain the phenomenon. It is necessary to analyze the interaction of the actors involved in the phenomenon, such as victim, trafficker, and consumer, the way they assume a role in the trafficking process, complementing and entertaining one another, amplifying or enhancing the phenomenon. In order to have a complete insight, we must also consider the cultural environment, which responds to the existence of trafficking. The way it relates to this environment may maintain or remove the trafficker act by the way it rewards or penalizes his behavior. Prevention programs at society level. Behaviors is prescribed by society. The role of the society in our formation and individuals is crucial. Each person's life depends and acts in a cultural society with rules and clear definitions of good and wrong, what is desirable and what not. Deviant behavior is penalized and the accepted behavior is enforced through acceptance and rewards. The phenomenon of trafficking, although penalized by the society, is reinforced by a group of persons, the consumers. The role of the consumers is often ignored, even if they are the engine of this phenomenon. In this environment, each person belongs to a small group, like family, friends, and school. The values of an individual develops of the group he belongs and to the environment he came from. Also, the values of this group are influenced by the cultural society. For example, the way in which we perceive the sexual behavior, the social responsibility, and the attitude regard to others. It is set by all members of society, defining what is accepted and what is deviant. The change begins from the micro level, which should sustain some others' ideas. If these ideas are internalized by the majority, can become social norms, like women's rights and racial equality. Information campaigns are aimed to influence the public opinion, to point on the phenomenon and to inform the population regarding the attitude they should adopt. The campaign of trafficking are aimed to sustain with information the individual regarding his own protection, ignoring another factors. This kind of campaign, it is good for giving information, but it also can have a stigma effect. Our proposal in this campaign addressed to four directions. To potential victims. It is important that this campaign be documented with accurate data based on researches in order to capture the development method and to provide valid information, even self-defense methods. To the public, to address also to consumer and to shape the normalization of this behavior, to benefit from these services. The appeal to moral conduct and to responsibility for each other. Certain members of the society do not exercise any citizen responsibility, not even in case of children who are exposed to exploitation of any kind, to form of anti-corruption attitude. 3, to the experts, to shape their professional outlook and attitude. Sometimes these do not make the difference between prostitution and trafficking. To institutions involved in social projects, to allocate funds for the development of viable prevention and rehabilitation services. Prevention programs at individual level. The individual develops within a family, acquiring the values and behavior patterns manifested in this framework. The way parents educate their children, the effects they are exposed to, contribute to their development. In this framework, the child develops a vision on his own person, like value concept, self-esteem, on the world and the others, and on the way the interaction between the person and the society must take place. They may develop vulnerabilities. This program functions in small groups and group therapy principles. Vulnerable groups. The development of certain emotional or personality disorder is a major factor of vulnerability to enter and maintain in trafficking process. Each of these factors affects a lot the social functioning, like the perception on self. For example, of vulnerable groups, children from disadvantaged backgrounds who live in abusive families, institutionalized children. The group activities for these children could approach the following subjects: self-knowledge and personal development activities, identify emotional needs, developing self-awareness and positive attitude towards oneself, develop social responsibility and relationship skills, information regarding human trafficking, development of functional attitude to protect against trafficking, development of an attitude of confidence in the ability to act in real-life situations. Large group from school environment. Many victims of human trafficking are minors, derived from family backgrounds apparently unproblematic. Therefore, they have never been identified as vulnerable. In order to interfere on this kind of groups, schools could develop programs aiming to general purposes: identification, development, strengthening of individual protective factors, and information awareness of students on this phenomenon, and consolidation, development of a close relationship between parents, children, parents, school. Regarding the activities with the students, they should be designed on the aspect that make them vulnerable at the phenomenon. This process is a complex one and should be treated as such. Starting from the causes of this phenomenon, it would be desirable to adopt some subjects like emotional development, auto-efficacy, assertive communication, friendship, sexual education. A second step would be giving information and raising awareness of the phenomenon. Regarding the activities with parents, there should be organized some workshops in which they can attend. Workshops improving parenting abilities. Also, we would like to have a session with both parents and child to strengthen the collaboration and the communication in the diet. Boy groups and mentors network. Most prevention campaigns refer to trafficked women, which is why boys do not identify with the victim role and they do not perceive themselves as vulnerable. So we need prevention campaigns who refer to trafficked men. The idea of mentoring for young people and for victims. For young people, the mentor of this kind of people has the role of conciliator between the individual and the social pressure experienced by them. The mentor can reshape the perception on their own needs. They may represent a vulnerability factor for themselves. In this context, the mentor should also take into consideration the trafficking phenomenon. For victims, in case of these people, it is important that the mentor be a role model to teach them skills related to daily life. The mentors network might develop by recruiting volunteers who would benefit from a training program before coming in contact with someone to assist. Psychology and social assistance university may develop collaboration agreements in order to provide students the opportunity to practice. Their training would be different from the other volunteers, given that they have a basic knowledge of social sciences. A specialist could coordinate their work. This proposal is a strategy more than a prevention plan that can be structured on several steps according to their importance, complementing the elements that already exist in order to fight against trafficking phenomenon. Thank you.